everybody! So today I'm back, and today is going to be a full-length book review, none of this 60-second stuff. Full review of The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. This is a book that's just come out in paperback. It's getting an absolute ton of hype. It's one I was really excited to read. I know loads of people who'd read it and loved it, and I'm really excited to let you guys know what I thought about it. So anyone that's been watching my channel for a while will know the general format that my reviews take. I'm going to look at a few different areas, specifically concept, like what the whole idea of the book is, whether that's interesting or not. Plot, so how the story develops, the twists and turns it goes along. Characters and how engaging and interesting they are. And the writing of it, and so whether the language used is right and the general structure and things of it. And then there'll be a little bit of like other stuff, which quite often covers things like the ending, or any other random things about the cover and stuff that I decide I like. So without further ado, let's get down to the first area, which is concept. So the concept of The Art of Being Normal is definitely one of the things that really drew me in about it. As you can possibly tell from the cover, it's about a transgender teenager, and it's a female trapped in the body of a biological male, and it's not a subject that's covered very often. Of all genres, YA does the best job of dealing with these kinds of issues, but it's not something I've ever encountered in a book before, and that was one of the things that really drew me in, is that completely unique perspective. The plot then. Building on such a strong concept is always going to be difficult, but Lisa Williamson, the author, manages it really well. There is a lot of twists and turns. There's 2 or 3 points in the book that I had to put it down and go, what? Did not see that coming. Basically, the whole plot is that the main character, called David, meets a boy called Leo, who's new starting at school, and he's a typical bit of a bad boy. You've got a little bit of a dark past, you don't know what he's done. And it's so much of the book is about their relationship and the developments in their respective lives, and there are some twists involved in that which are just amazing. One of the things I really love about this is that it's not a love story. It's not about a romance between Leo and David. It's about much more than that. It's about friendship and personal acceptance. In a lot of YA books it can fall back on a romance aspect, and I'm really glad this book stayed away from that. I think it would be too easy to shoehorn in, and it's a perfectly crafted plot as it is without those elements in there as well. All in all, the whole plot of it is very realistic. The settings all feel real, the situations they're in feel real. Some of them are a little bit cliche, but they're so well done that you can kind of let that go. There's one kind of incident they have where they go on a bit of a seaside trip for a reason linked in with deeper parts of the plot, and they have a big bust up there that is like so expected. You know it's going to come at some point. It happens in every novel, but it's done so well you don't mind that it's kind of a bit cliche. The next bit then is characters. So in this book, it's the characters that really make it. Both David and Leo, the main characters, have really good arcs. They both go on their own journeys that are really nice tied together, and it's just a really interesting journey to watch them go on. Beyond that, the supporting characters are just as entertaining and just as intriguing, and quite often in a book like this, which is so focused on 2 main characters, those supporting characters can be a little bit caricature or kind of just a bit flimsy, but in this they're all really well formed. Both main characters' sets of family and siblings and friendship groups are so well formed, and you can see little hints of like classic teenage groups of things, like you've got the quirky one, you've got the geek, but it's just really well done, and they're all such multifaceted characters that it's a real joy. Even when you're not focusing on those main characters, the surrounding ones are just as amazing. There are a few characters in this which kind of just show up and aren't really developed very much, or people such as, for example, Leo's mum, who's a really interesting character and quite relatable, but doesn't really get developed that much. It's a lot more... They're a little bit more superficial, but a lot of the characters are really well done. There are just a few that really do feel like they could have that extra little bit to really cement them as amazing characters as well. The best thing about it, though, definitely is the relationship between Leo and David, the way it develops over time, the eventual bond they've got, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch happen, and definitely one of the best parts of the book without a shadow of a doubt. In a book like this, the writing isn't the most important thing really, it's the story and the characters, but even so, Lisa Williamson does a really good job. For the most part, it's quite unobtrusive, it tells the story, but it doesn't try to do anything too grand. But there are some lines in there which are just like sucker punches to the face. Like, some of the lines that you read and I just literally like gasped or had to have a little moment to think about it, and some of them since I just can't forget. There's one particular line which I don't really want to say because it's not advertised anywhere, but if you read it you will know the line, which is just like, makes your heart cry. It is amazing, and it's a real joy when those little things sneak in, I have to say. The only slight downside I had with the way it was written was that the very last chapter felt a little bit unnecessary. I can see what the author was trying to do by like cementing the finish, but the penultimate chapter's got a really strong end and feels really powerful and quite a nice rounding off, and I was a little bit disappointed by the chapter that followed after that. A little niggle rather than any massive problem, but still one of the few things that tarred it a little bit for me. So overall, what did I think about The Art of Being Normal? Well, you might have guessed, I absolutely loved it. There were very, very few negatives, and it is the first ever book that has made me cry, and that's a record it'll keep forever. I read the last 100 or so pages kind of in one big blitz go. There's one scene that triggers it all, and then from then I was just crying, and the whole rest of it then is a really emotional roller coaster, and for it to have had that effect on me when no other book has before is a really, really powerful thing, and I think that deserves so much credit. That it can really hit you that hard is an incredible thing, and Lisa Williamson should be really proud of what she's managed to accomplish. Overall, I'm going to say it's the best book I've read so far this year, but that doesn't narrow it down too much. But it's one of the best books I've read in quite a while as well. I've given it a 9.5 out of 10, and definitely anyone that has an even passing interest in this genre, generally likes YA fiction, give this a read, you will not regret it. So that's it. That's my review of The Art of Being Normal. An absolutely brilliant book. I really advise anyone interested to read. If you've read it yourself, please leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. I've yet to meet anyone who didn't like it, so I'm particularly interested, if you didn't like it, to leave a comment down below. But I'd love to hear whatever any of you guys have to say about it as well. Or if you've got anything similar to recommend, it's a genre and a kind of a topic I'd like to explore a lot more. If you've enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe down below. It's really appreciated. I've had a really good few months doing this, and I'm really excited to show you guys what I've got coming up in the next bit of this channel. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.